Hey, it's Sebastian again. Yeah, I'm just back. I was gonna do kind of a, not really a review, but kind of a go over of Rocksmith 2014 and Bandfuse. I already went through the 2014 in another video. Now I was going on to moving on to Bandfuse. Like I said, I gotta apologize for the quality of the video. I didn't go over that last time, but if you've seen the setup I got going on here, it's pretty laughable. So there's crooked, twisted, slanted screen there and all that good stuff, but I did what I had to do to make this work. Alright, so let's just move on. Let's get on to the Bandfuse. One thing about Bandfuse is saving and loading. I mean, it's a game, so yeah, it happens. And there's 3 connections. My guitar is, oh, I better do that real quick. I still got the darn cable in it. Was one thing that's really a drag about these games. The cables, you can't interchange them. Rocksmith, you gotta have Rocksmith's cable. For Bandfuse, you gotta have Bandfuse's cable. I just did that other video, so here I am, and not set up the way I should be, I guess. Jump around. I don't know if I pointed it out, but this is just picking your different, what kind of play you want. Like here's your guitar, guitar 2, bass, vocals, vocals in guitar 1, vocals in guitar 2, bass and vocals, or just karaoke mode. We're just going to guitar mode. Continue. Instruments connected. Now here we're going to go through our choices. Backstage. It's basically what I do is just a walkthrough of what's in here and stuff. Kind of talk about it along the way. Pro tips. And we'll pop our head in here, but yeah, this is nothing. Just some stuff. Yeah, it wasn't even worth going in. Gameplay interface is the same. This kind of just gives you an idea of what your fingers are color coded for, and these show you what the different techniques are shown when they come across on the staff. Options. We're not going to mess with any of that. But basically, you just like the other one, you want to hook up your sound system separate than your. Can't go through HDMI or it'll be real laggy. And then this is one real nice thing. This is one of the best things for this that not the best, but Rocksmith, the first one, when you finished the song, it went right into playing that song back for you. You could hear it and it played it back, but I think it canceled out where you can play on top of it. Now, for whatever reason, the Rocksmith 2014 totally eliminated that option. You don't hear your songs played back at the end of the song, and there's no way to listen to what you just played. They made some kind of, I remember they had some comment on there, and it was like, it's kind of seemed kind of snobby almost, you know, from the way I got it. They just basically didn't want to do it or whatever, didn't see a reason to do it. But I think it was a bad choice, and it's one thing that Bandfuse came back and has in there is the ability to, when you finish a song, you can play it right back and hear everything you did, and on top of that, I think your sound is still active, so you can play even on top of that as well. You can save it. You can save 500 playbacks. So that's one thing that I can say about Bandfuse is they got that on there, and for whatever reason I still to this day don't understand why Rocksmith would say that's not worth having, because it definitely is. And we'll get back to it too, but later on we'll get back to that on the songs that you play, basically background songs that you play over. Those you can play over those, hear the recording, and play over it again. So you can even do layered, but you can't record the second time. But while you're listening to it, you can play over it again. Like say you play the blues backing track, you do a little rhythm over that. Now you play that back to hear it, you hear yourself, but then now you can play the lead on top of that. So you don't record that time, but it's kind of neat, you know. A very, very weird thing that Rocksmith decided to not go anywhere with that. I just don't understand that, but a definite plus on Bandfuse when you're comparing the two. Alright, so let's get out of here. Tour. This is again where they cut this out of Rocksmith, and I guess I can see it. But this is more like playing your standard game. You go in here, pick your tour. It has different goals to play the different songs, and then you get fans and money and all kinds of stuff. So it's kind of making it more like the old rock band type games and stuff. The little tour thing and playing through the songs, and then it has little goals to compete and stuff. And it's by level. These are all level 1. As you move through the different acts you got, they get more complicated, and then of course they're locked, and you have to make so much money in the other ones before you can unlock this. You know, it's the game stuff. You know, I don't really, it's not my thing. I'm more about just learning songs and stuff, but you know, it's something. And you can like you go through here, you don't have to have these 3 songs. There's edit, concert, so that'll let you pick different songs and stuff. So, you know, it's all good. If that's what someone's looking for, a lot of people, that's what if they're coming from playing a rock band to this or something, then that might be the kind of thing, their gameplay they're looking for. It makes it more like a game, but that's what people are familiar with, so that's all good. Just something separate. And back out. Quick plays, just grab your song and play it. And you know what? Here's kind of, I don't like their way of going through stuff. You still search and stuff, but it's pretty, I don't know, it just doesn't seem as intuitive to get through the different stuff. And it just seems weird, there's all like this empty space that could have been filled with something. I know they got it sorted, it's just don't seem right to me. Why do I only have to be able to see 3 songs when I have all this space where I can just be able to scroll through this stuff? Maybe I don't know how to do it right, but to me it just makes it seem like I have to do too much, you know, to get through what I'm trying to do. Yep, and this is just to play the songs. Now we got the Shred U Skill Lab. This kind of stuff, their videos and all that stuff, they're pretty weak, really, compared to the Rocksmith. This is not a strength, and I think a lot of it's fluff. I mean, some of it's like interviews and stuff that's kind of interesting just to watch, just because. But as far as learning stuff from them and stuff, it's pretty weak. It's not a strength of the game to teach through their videos and stuff, but from my perspective anyway. Now Lick Lab, this is kind of sort of like breaking the song down like in the other game, like in Rocksmith. Now they also got all these other type of things too that teach you. These things are okay, like for learning scales and stuff. You'll go through there, and this is a E major scale. Let's just go to it just because, and you'll see arpeggios. Now we won't deal with it here, but later we'll get into what that stuff's about. And another thing that kind of pain with this, like they combine the bass. You can filter it out and stuff, but like on default, the bass and the guitar and stuff is all together. So like this Absolute Story song, you can't even tell that's the bass one. and this is the guitar one. Until it's, you know, if this scrolls through and scrolls through, eventually it says guitar. I don't know how many times I'm playing this thing, I boot up something and then it winds up being the bass instead of the guitar, and I gotta back out and do it all over again. I mean, you know, for like this one's fine. It's got a short little title, there's bass, you know, okay, that's fine. But see these two right here, that's gonna be the same, you know. Bass probably comes on top all the time, but you know, when you're just kind of scrolling through and you might have it, the other one's off the screen or whatever, you know, it's just, it's not good, I don't think, in that way. Now let's just go inside one of these songs and see how this works. I must have played with this one at one point in time. But see, what this does is breaks it into phrases. It don't have the whole song necessarily at this part. And you can just learn a phrase, say I want to do this part, and then note for note, it goes note for note, then 60, and then it'll progress. As soon as you get 80% and note for note, it'll progress to 60. If you do that at 80 or whatever, and it keeps on going up until you get to 110, you know, and at 110, that's basically fast speed. If you do that okay, you'll switch back to 100 and gotta do it 5 times. At that point, after you did it 5 times, then you should have a basic idea of how it works. And then, you know, obviously you're not gonna be still good at it, but that kind of stuffs you through. But one thing I don't really like about it, I don't know, maybe I missed something, but if I do N4, note for note, I should be able to just sit there and do note for note, note for note until I feel comfortable. But it don't. It just, as soon as you get so it's percent of note for note, or even one time through, I don't even think it matters. You go through note for note one time, it jumps you right to 60. You know, and there's no way to go lower than 60. And I guess in a way that probably does force you to move on. It pushes you, you know, so it's not all bad. But, you know, the other, on Rocksmith, you can more or less choose to just stay in one spot, adjust it manually, or let it adjust by you as you build up, and you can back it up. And it just, to me, the thing in Rocksmith is better than this in a lot of ways. Even though this has its way too, because you're basically playing tab in here instead. So it's another thing, you know, you can learn the same song twice or whatever, because some of the songs do go back and forth. Let's just do a note for note. I'm not going to actually go through it, but you'll see what it does. Still loading. Oh, and the tuner, we want to go over that. The tuner is better. I like it better. See, it's just telling me hit the open E right there. And then it's going here. If it does a complete circle, it moves on to the next string. I'll just move through this tuner. That's not very good, but turns off too. But anyway, close enough, it lets me do it. So now that you got that, it wants you to strum the whole, all the strings. But if you wanted to, you could just, still just hit once, look at these and tighten them up if you wanted to, you know. But from there, you just do a complete strum. I got it in close enough to tune something. Here it goes. Man, that was crazy. Yeah, I didn't want to sit there and tune everything. I was hoping it'd be close enough. But yeah, see, now we got tab, which is more comfortable to a lot of people that have played before, and it's familiar. Plus, if you don't, you're learning tab, so that's good for reading music and other books once you learn this. So it's not like you gotta learn 2 things like you would in Rocksmith. You pretty much gotta learn the 2. Personally, I mean, I know how to read tab and stuff, but I actually prefer the Rocksmith system over tab. It just, to me, I can just play on the fly a lot easier than I can on here. And this, I actually have to learn the tab almost a little bit. You know, I mean, I can still play on the fly. But anyway, back to the note for note. See, we're just saying, we'll look at the thing. Theirs are, instead of the colors being the string, the colors are your fingers. And then these just work from the string from the bass up. So it's just saying 5th fret, or yeah, 5th fret, and the, what's that, B? B string. So I'm just doing a 5th and then I'm probably hammering on the 6th. And I'm holding it. See, and it just goes on and you do the technique like it's just your slide to 7 and 9. So if you understand tab, then that's the basic idea, and it'll make you do this. Will make this one move on until you get that, and then it'll just keep stepping you through. But as soon as you step through all this crap, it's going to jump you right to 60% and start throwing it at you again. No lower, no nothing. It's just right to 60 and keep on giving you that 60 until you can get 80% on it or whatever, and then it'll bump you up to 75 or whatever it is. You know, I like tab, but I still, you know, and this is, like I said, some people will want this over the other because it's what they're comfortable with, it's what they know. But I still think Rocksmith's way, once you figure it out, for me, it makes it work. I can just play on the fly, put a song in, I don't know, I can just start playing a good chunk of it, you know. And so let's get out of here. A lot more loading, but you know, it's a game. We kind of went over that. Like I said, you don't get the whole song. This one looks like it's got a pretty good chunk of the song, but you don't get the whole song. Now in practice, it's kind of the same thing. Let's go here. But this time you can go through, pick the whole parts of the whole song, any piece or whatever, like the intro, the verse. You can't break it up into as small a chunks as the other, as Rocksmith, or even the Lick Lab thing we were just in. But you can break, you know, the song down into how much you want to play. If you want to just keep playing the intro over and over, then this is cool. You know, you put it on intro, you adjust your speed, note for note or whatever, so you can make it. You know, here you can do that, where, you know, it just beats you to death on it. You loop it, you know, whatever. So we'll just put it on intro just because. Just choose the intro. And ready, set, go. I'm not playing nothing, but we'll see. It just runs right through it. Oh, I gotta pick my level. Alright, this is still just different how much notes and stuff you'll have on there. And if you don't pick the highest level, then you don't have the option to pick lead and rhythm and stuff. Otherwise, it just gives you an arrangement, and it'll be from almost slow, you know, to medium all the way up. So we'll just put it up to 5. And we'll just leave it on the lead. There we go. My strings might be getting bad too. I just don't want to have to sit there and go through the whole tune. And that shows that the tuner is better than the Rocksmith, because I tuned up on Rocksmith, and then I come here and it's not tuned. I don't know if you can hear through that very good or not. But here it's just rolling on through. This is full blast, what would be really played. And that gives you an idea of what it looks like, how it plays. In the video, I mean, we got chords. We got chord names coming up here. This gives you a kind of a reading on how good you're doing. Obviously, not very good at all. And a multiplier. But yeah, we only played the one chunk, the intro. But that's pretty much how that all works. I'm not big on the video on there. I don't know what good that does. It doesn't help me as a player. But I guess if I had somebody in the room with me and I'm playing, it might entertain them. You know, but I have no use for having a video on there. Doesn't do me any good. Probably don't even match. Half of them probably don't even match the actual song. Alright, so now we're moving on. We're about done with this. This is another cool thing that I do like about this one. The backing tracks. Not only the backing tracks, you know, because I can put on, like I said, I can put on the blues, go through, play little rhythm thingy on there along with it, and then come back, play it back, play on top of that, like I was saying before. It's pretty good. I like it. And there's a pretty good selection of them, and they're different, different keys, different styles. And if you notice these, like these are basically scale lessons. Let's put one in. And we'll put it right on 5. We're not playing it anyway. Damn it. I should have tuned this the first time and just been done with it. There, we got through it fast that time. I don't know what that's about. See, so what you got going on is it's telling you your key and your pentatonic. It's showing you your pattern. And it's just a practice thing. You know, so it's kind of like the trainer for learning the scale. Play it over and over and over, and you watch it. You look at the scale, and then it's playing it back in track anyway, so you don't have to follow those notes. Once you learn the scale, you can play around with it your own way, however you want. You know. So in a way, it's still a backing track. You're just playing it in that scale, and then you can learn. You can practice as they're showing you, and then play it any way you want. You know, so I can just play it however I want in there. It's not going to judge me or nothing. But anyway, that's pretty much that. And I think the session mode or whatever in Rocksmith gives you a pretty good thing for being able to follow scales, and you see the whole knack and everything. So, I mean, it's not playing the track like this, but it's still the same kind of idea. It's just two different ways to do it, and it's always nice to be able to mix things up, so this is a good thing too. I like it. I know we got through this a lot faster than the other, but there's a lot more content to Rocksmith 14. There's no doubt about it. And even the amount of songs and stuff. But, you know, with the playback, the backing tracks, and a few other things, you know, the fact that you get to play tab, practice on tab as well. And I think learning it on here, when you learn it this way, might stick better, you know, faster. Because, like, I can play the Rocksmith songs on the fly by sight and not necessarily really remember the song as much as until I play it over and over. It's getting me used to playing it, but it's not really right in my head that I really played it, because I just pretty much read the thing and played it. Where beating through on tab makes stuff stick better, I think, where you got it instead of just sight reading. Just like, I guess, somebody playing the piano, when they're reading they can play a song with the paper right in front of them, but they ain't necessarily going to be able to play that song just sitting there and playing. It's the same kind of thing, but if you beat it to death enough, you can still get it. Plus, the Rocksmith's master mode, where it starts to fade away, well, that kind of starts to force you at that point to remember to. So, you know, once you get to that point where you can play good, then it can get it in you. But the tab way, it can be more frustrating, I think, to try to beat through the tab. You know, that's why sometimes Rocksmith is just funner to play, because it's less, to me anyway, can be less work. But yeah, that's pretty much, I covered a good chunk of what's in here. This Legends stuff, again, I think it's mostly fluff. You know, they're pretty much backing on this kind of stuff. It's kind of like magazine type stuff. You know, I mean, yeah, if you're reading guitar magazines and interviews and all that stuff, yeah, you know, yeah, that's interesting and stuff to get to know people or how things work. And there's a few things. These guys talk about some stuff about, you know, what, like being solid in a band and communicating and giving each other space and, you know, their right to do whatever. But so it's interesting stuff to listen to, but it's really not. It's more entertaining and fluff, I think, than anything. It doesn't really serve too well to help you play or anything, Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to finish that off here with this. And I know I done rambled enough on the two types. I could probably even cover it a little more now, but for now, yeah, I'll just say, yeah, between the two, if it ain't obvious, I lean real heavily towards Rocksmith, but I played the early Rocksmith as well, and I was ready. I liked that enough to, as soon as Rocksmith 2014 came, I was waiting to buy it as soon as it came out. So I guess I'm a little biased on it. And Bandfuse has still got enough key points to, if it was the only game available, then it would be fine. But I would have to have Rocksmith. I don't have to have Bandfuse. And but Bandfuse has got some points in it that just make it where I don't regret buying it. At one point in time when I first had Rocksmith and Bandfuse was out, and the availability even wasn't very good. I mean, you go to Rocksmith, or you go into the store, Rocksmith's everywhere. You don't see Bandfuse. I looked all over looking for Bandfuse, trying to get it. And I kind of thought, well, Bandfuse might crash and burn, because Rocksmith, even to me, seems such a good game. I couldn't imagine that Bandfuse would be that good. So I kind of was debating, even when I couldn't find it anywhere. Well, I was debating that I'd just wait for Rocksmith or Bandfuse to come on clearance somewhere, because I assumed it was going to crash and burn. But as I looked around and it wasn't available nowhere, I started to worry that I wouldn't be able to get it. If it bombed, it wouldn't be everywhere on clearance because no one had it. So I did manage to find it at I think it was a GameStop or Spot or whatever you call the place. They did have it there. It advertises it on at Best Buy on the websites and stuff, but every Best Buy I went to didn't have it. So I went ahead and said, and it was even more than Rocksmith. I think it was $10 more. But I went ahead and bought it anyway, just because. And yeah, I don't regret it a bit. I just still put way more time in Rocksmith, but the recording thing, the backing tracks, and just the little scale things and stuff like that, it's still worth it. Plus they're going to have, I guess, Jimi Hendrix and stuff like that download content. But I'd still say, for the money, the 2014 is way worth it. If you only could buy one game, then that would be the one I would say, unless you were dead set on having tablature. If you were okay with the old style, playing the rock band type games and stuff like that, then Rocksmith would be definitely the way to go. I would almost say, if you could only have one game, it would be Rocksmith. If you could afford to have both, then it's worth having both. And that's my opinion. There's so much more to Rocksmith: the games, the tutorials, or whatever, the teaching part of it. The way it does the riff repeater, where you can break everything down. The improvising thing, whatever they call that, I don't forget again. It's just, there's so much more there to it. And you can't beat the price, even at, it might be $70. I don't know if it's 60 or $70. But if you look at any of the old videos for learning stuff, $70, you're going to pay that for almost all kinds of lessons, and $70 is nothing. You throw it away, if you get that and play it, you're going to learn that much out of it. I mean, I don't know how many people I've even have different DVDs and stuff of different learning things for guitar. I paid good money for a lot of it, and then I've got so much more out of Rocksmith than any of that. Now, I'm sure Bandfuse, if that would have came, or if that's all I ever had, then that would have been the same. It's better than the majority of DVDs or something that you're going to pick up, you know. Plus you get to play it on your game. So, you know, both of them are definitely worth the money when you compare them to other types of learning things. But neither one of them is a true end-all learning thing. You don't get a lot out of them. You get what you get out of them. You can learn songs, you can get, you know, learn some scales and practice and get some skills and stuff. But of course, you're still going to want to look online, learn stuff, do different meet people and talk and do whatever. But at least you can do a lot on your own and get, you know, just practice in the different things. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that because I'm just rattling as it is. Take care.